Counting on you.
The definitive version of Persona 4?
4 enemies down.
Amazing,
Go, Yosuke.
Yosuke-kun.
What's the definitive version of Persona 4?
That's it, Yosuke. 1 enemy. Okay. Out of our way.
See, the thing is, I'm not playing the Vita version. I'm playing PS2, so...
Cool, you leveled up.
I can store up to 8 Personas now.
Oh, did I level up?
This is the PS2 version played on a PlayStation 2, no less. Oh god. I hate that.
It's an ambush. There are 3 enemies.
Wow. Excuse you?
Yuki-chan's seriously out to lunch. Amazing, Sensei.
Yay, I leveled up.
Well, I mean, I do have the ability to utterly destroy those stupid, confusing jerks, so yeah. I think it deserves an evil laugh. Die! You're in front of my treasure!
Got ambushed by 3 enemies. Don't run! 3 enemies left. Throw down. Ooh, good one, Yosuke. Okay. Out of our way.
You can tell by the 4x3 resolution, though, that it's PS2. But yeah, I don't have a Vita. Capturing a Vita is very difficult, and I don't really care about the, extra social link or whatever you get, The game is still the game, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference. 1 bead. God damn it, dude! I'm like right on top of it, man! If I get any closer, I'll just aggro it naturally.
I smell 3 enemies. Don't get careless. Yosuke's completely out of it.
Take this.
3 enemies down.
Let's do it.
Ikimasu!
Give it up.
Is Persona 5 even on PC?
A rare monster.
Pretty sure they're
Get the
weak to
stuffing out of it.
wind. Wealth hand, huh?
Couldn't quite beat it.
This one. 1 enemy. Fight, fight, fight.
Dude. Fine.
Counting on you.
Yeah, so I wouldn't.
Skin.
Wait, what?
Electricity should work.
Oh, I misread that.
Persona! I couldn't do it.
Persona. Go, Sensei. You knocked.
Okay.
Honestly, Honestly, they really should port their more definitive editions of Persona games to PC or Steam or something like that, but there's probably a reason why they don't really interact with Steam too much. Because, you know, they, like, developers have to pay like 30% of sales to Steam, so not really a lot of motivation even for big time developers to do that. Yeah, but I got 3,000 money, so see, I move a little bit closer and I just walk into it instead. Like, it's so hard to get the preempt thingy. The early attack thing is just like incredibly difficult.
Let's do this, Jiraiya! 3 enemies down. Let's go. Okay. Ready or not, here we come! All right, I leveled up.
All right, I leveled up, dead bro. Yeah, all right. I have not played this game before, so again, it doesn't really matter which version I'm playing. Oh, it's you. Are you gonna charge me 8,000 million yen? Let's pat his head. Thanks. I don't have 8 million yen to be healed 5 HP. Sorry, buddy. Sorry.
I smell 3 enemies. Don't get careless.
So glad I could get the surprise attack on them so that I could
Yosuke's completely out of it.
not get an ambush attack.
Sarasvati! Amazing, Sensei!
Be gone!
I mean, it's like, as far as like it being like, yeah, big bathhouse, whatever, it's kind of actually my biggest gripe with the game so far is that dungeon design is really just doesn't exist. It's procedurally generated hallways with a tile set, you know? Right now it's bathhouse tile set, so it's just a generic tile set. It doesn't matter what the tile set is. It's not an actual, like, lived-in space, you know? And that's, like, my only gripe with the game in general. Well, it's not my only gripe, but it is the biggest gripe that I have with the game. Is you get tile set, and it's just procedurally generated from there. I like it when games have, like, built dungeons that are, like, spaces that exist in reality kind of thing, you know? Like, if you go to some temple, it looks and feels like a temple, and it's not just a bunch of random hallways with a tile set, you know? Like, you go to a mine, it feels like a mine. Like, there's railroad tracks, it makes sense, there's a dig point, you know, varying paths, whatever. And, that's one of the things I really liked about, Final Fantasies, is most of the dungeons feel like spaces that exist within the world, not just random hallways, you know?
That's some thick skin.
Persona!
Oh, 2 enemies left.
Persona!
Especially FF12, yeah, for sure, no doubt. But to be honest, after playing Persona 3 for a little bit of time, I kind of expected Persona 3 but better, and that's what I've gotten so far. Although I would say this game is very, very much in between Persona 3 and Persona 5 in terms of quality and design and everything, you know? It definitely feels like I could definitely feel a lot of the inspiration that was given to Persona 5.
Damn, not going down.
Enemies, charge through them.
Take this!
Oh, I stopped trying to catch everything because I've done way too much Pokemon in my life. I know already. I've learned my lesson of not trying to catch everything. So letting things pass that I know I'm not going to even bother with, I'm fine with. I'm excited for P5R? Not really. Like again, it's just like Persona 4 Golden, right? It's just Persona 5 with an extra social link and a kind of minor improvements here and there. There's nothing really deep or interesting about it. It's not a sequel game. There's not really any new content of noteworthiness, you know? Like, do I want it? I mean, yeah, I do want it. Am I gonna get it? Nah.
Take this!
3 enemies down.
Here, let's
Yeah, no reason to play the entire game all over again just for that. I mean, I want to play the entire game again anyway, but still, it's just to spend $70 on it just so you can get a social link. Meh. Yeah, I know there's an extra party member. That's the social link. Again, not worth $60, you know? 70, actually. Not worth it. I have the game. I can play the game. I get the entire story. I'm not missing out on anything, you know? That's why I like DLC.
Hang in there.
That's why I like DLC. This Persona 5 Royal is a prime example of why DLC is a good thing. Persona 5 Royal should be introduced as DLC, and it should be like 15 to 20 bucks, not a brand new game that's standalone for $70. DLC is a good thing, people. It allows us to get extra content without having to spend the entire price tag all over again. Don't, you know, if you actually care about that kind of thing, you should not even buy Persona 5 Royale and then tell them that they should be introducing it as DLC, because that's what they should be doing. But instead, they're gonna get $70 out of you instead of the 15 to 20 that they should be charging.
Throw down. That's some thick skin.
Persona!
Yeah, I mean, it's different if it's your first time playing the game. Definitely get that version of it if you can play it, right? If you don't have Persona 5, wait until Royal comes out and get that version of it, because it's just going to be better, right? That's fine. I get it. But it's DLC. It's DLC. So many people speak out against DLC like it's the devil, and I'm sitting here telling you, nope, it ain't, because it saves you a lot of money. You choose to buy that content. You don't have to. But you're gonna spend a hell of a lot more if it's not DLC, and they'll still introduce the same concepts to you. There's like 8 versions of Street Fighter 2 for the NES. Did you know that, by the way? There's like 8 or so versions of Street Fighter 2 on the SNES. Not kidding. And if you want every version, you gotta pay $50 for each version.
Persona.
Instead, with today's technology, that could just be DLC. $5 per for the turbo mod, you know? It just... But that's the thing, you get to choose. You're voting with your dollars. That's what you do when you spend money. Every time, make no mistake, every time you spend money of any quantity, you are making a vote. You are saying, I like this content. The companies, they don't care who you are. All they care about is whether or not you bought or did not buy a product. So they see X amount of votes or dollars on a product and they go, hey, this is or is not popular. We should or should not make more of this. That's it. So if you don't like the DLC that's being offered, or it's too expensive, don't buy it.
An ambush by 3 enemies. Don't cry.
Don't cry.
Counting on you. Persona!
Persona!
Damn, it's not going
3
down.
enemies left.
Take this!
Oh, that's right, they reflect ice. Yeah, but the cost usually varies based on how involved the DLC is. You know, like
Yosuke's scared.
the DLC cost of like something very minor like a skin is usually very cheap,
John beat an enemy.
whereas the
Keep
DLC cost
going.
of something more involved, like actual content or expansions, is usually going to be, you know, a lot more expensive.
It's tough.
So the price usually matches the content.
That's 1 so far.
And you still choose whether or not that price tag is worth it to you, and you buy or do not buy it. Horse Wiener Saga doesn't have DLC because Horse Wiener Saga is already a perfect game. So, I mean, good luck,
John
right?
beat an enemy. Keep going.
Let's see if China's up to the... There we go. Way to go. Oh, he's trying... he's trying to get the 15 pyramid. Oh, shit. I messed up. Devs aren't setting the price. Yes, they are. Devs set the price of their product. Well, not devs, but the publisher does, rather. Developers actually have very little say in what happens with everything that they make. It's kind of unfortunate too because publishers get profits first. So if a game doesn't sell very well, publishers get their money back, but developers don't necessarily. Kind of a rough spot for developers in general.
It's our turn first. There's 3 enemies.
Yes, I agree 100%, Fondmaster. You frickin' nailed it. Absolutely.
Throw down!
Hold down!
That's some thick
3
skin.
enemies left.
2 left! Persona!
Yeah, but also consider, like Fondmaster said, Kamen Rider, that Persona 2, or Disgaea 2 had not seen a PSP release. So it was also a new platform, you know? If you're going to introduce you're going to introduce an old game with new content, introducing it on a new platform kind of forgives the whole, this isn't DLC, buy a new copy. So like if they had Switch or PC or both releases of Persona 5 Royale, well, wouldn't be so bad, would it? It's a tiger! Let's kill it.
There's 1 enemy. Smash it.
It is not happy.
Throw down! Persona! Someone else's turn.
Couldn't
1
quite
enemy.
beat it.
Fight, fight, fight.
Persona!
69 damage. Nice. That's the weed number. 69 blaze it.
It's over. I couldn't do it.
Well, it's not that it'll never make it. It's that they haven't been able to make it yet.
Do them
So remember that adding content to old versions of games isn't as easy as just doing it. Sometimes because the coding is different on PC or PS4, that it's just not possible, or it's a lot of work, or like it's hardcore programming prevents it from even being able to be a thing in general. The best thing to do is hope it can, but if it can't, then it can't, and that's that, whatever, you know. But there has been an official statement from Square Enix that says that they want to introduce the Switch exclusive content to PS4 and PC. There also might be contractual obligations, like, you know, they might have a deal with Nintendo saying, hey, this content is exclusive to Switch for such and such time, so that we can actually gain sales on the platform by putting this onto it. You know, there's a lot of things at play. It's not just as simple as, why don't they do this, you know?
Thick skin.
Take this!
There's a line of reasoning work for remasters if they release it for platforms they never did before, like how FFA is now on everything instead of just PS1. Yeah, of course. Anytime a game crosses over to a unique platform, it's always like worth the whatever it is that they're doing to justify it being a new release. Absolutely. Although I'd also say that being a remaster in general justifies it, period, you know? Because you're getting a brand new experience with an old game.
Soda.
Owie.
It's over.
Oh, that's regular Augie.
Oh, Yuki-chan, that was lovely.
Throw down. That's some thick skin.
Persona! Couldn't quite beat it.
Good work, Sensei. That's one so far.
Did that do it?
Amazing, Sensei.
21. Yeah, another thing about DQ11S though is that they originally intended for Switch to have a release that was the same time as every other release, and there kept being a lot of delays for it for whatever technical reason that it was delayed for, and I think at that point they're just like, you know what, like, we have all this extra content that we want to do for the game, might as well, you know, reward those that have been waiting for the Switch platform. That's kind of how I see it, right?
Couldn't quite beat it.
Suraisu.
Good work, Sensei. That's one.
I should have
so
saved it
far.
first since her weapon's really bad.
Defeat it.
Well, it doesn't have any feet. Of course you can't defeat it. Hello? Yukiko, come on. You're smarter than this.
One enemy. Fight, fight, fight.
How is that a boneheaded move? How do you know that's a boneheaded move? There's not much, you know, it costs money to localize things, you know? If they don't feel like it's profitable, especially Grandia 2, I opened a chest to get more chest keys, lol. If especially Grandia being such a very like niche interest, what motivation do they have to bring that over? You know, not a lot. Not much of a boneheaded move if there's just not a market for it. It's like, you know what? How come we don't have raw octopus in our stores? Every store in the United States should have raw octopus. Why don't we have that everywhere? Gosh, that's ridiculous. I'm so upset about that.
Careless.
There's no market for it. We don't eat raw octopus, you know?
Chie-chan's scared. Enemy reinforcements.
Oh, man.
Hurry and beat them.
Nice going. What?
Chie-chan, don't go!
What the hell? She just ran away! Hey!
Damn, it's not going down.
Oh god.
Okay, I'll look for an opening for you. Amazing, Sensei! Keep it up! 3 enemies left!
Super
You say that because you have an interest in it. Yeah, sure, maybe there might be, perhaps, but if they're professionals and they're studying the market and they see if they think it's a risk, they're not going to take the risk, especially if it's a low budget or smaller developer. Like Gung Ho specifically is a very small company from my memory. Like, just because you want something, man, we've had this discussion a million times, Anubis, and you have this extraordinary freaking entitlement that, you know, like, how dare they not release something that I want? And you need to cool your jets on that. There's more to it than just I want it. There's a lot more to it than that, man. It's a lot more to it. And you got to consider all possibilities, reasons, or maybe, you know what? Maybe they did make a bad decision, but whatever, it's their decision to make,
There are
you know?
2 enemies! Hang in there!
Oh god, these guys. I don't have... Oh, what's wind? They're weak against wind.
2 enemies left!
Throw down.
All risks are worth taking. Well,
Okay.
good luck. They won't be making it much longer. You should risk crossing the street during heavy traffic because it's worth it.
I won't lose. It's over.
That's the first thing I said, Celtic, was Hulk Hogan.
Please come in.
Yeah, exactly. It's easy to say when it's not your money at stake. Yeah, exactly. It's true. And it's not that, you know, you can't fight for wanting the things that you want on whatever platform or whatever that you want. Like, yeah, speak out about it. Say, hey, I want this. But to be mad about it and to get frustrated and upset at the developers for not doing whatever it is that you want, it reeks of entitlement, man. It really does. And I hate to be so upfront about it, but you know, I try to be a little fair here, you know.
I smell 2 enemies! Beat
I
them up.
am enjoying it, Bloody Mary, yeah.
Someone finish it off.
That's some thick skin.
Ouch.
Archon's in danger! Help! Someone! Amazing,
Yeah,
Sensei!
that's a
Keep it
fair
up.
comment. That's a fair comment. You feel it deserves to be on there.
It's
Yeah,
over.
that's fair. But I mean,
Couldn't do it.
Grandia is kind of a niche title. It's not super popular.
Someone finish it off.
And,
Yosuke's
you know,
surrounded
hoarding
an
costs money.
Yuki-chan's in danger! Help! Someone!
Man, the hit rate in this
Yuki-chan's
game is
health
super
too
low.
Fix it!
Persona. There.
One enemy! Fight! Fight! Fight!
I have to agree. Xenoblade Chronicles is one of my favorite games, and I'm very happy that we were able to get it.
Oh, Yuki-chan, that was lovely!
There. I can't defeat it.
2 more enemies!
What?
You gotta hang tight!
Frick, dude.
You're gonna pay, damn it.
Yeah!
2 enemies! Charge
Count on
through
you.
them! 2 enemies down! Don't...
Generally speaking, it's not... Generally speaking, RPGs are not held in a very high regard. They're not very good money makers. That's why there's so few of them and even fewer good ones. We got something happened there. But yeah, generally speaking, unless you're a big time developer like Square Enix, your RPGs are really not going to sell well, and even then, they're not going to rival things like Call of Duty and stuff like that. So, and they're very expensive to make. Yeah. Like they're always very high, a high quantity of cutscenes and CG scenes, which are very expensive to do. Well, it's logged, but from both sides. How does that work? And not only that, but they have way more game content than other games do. Action games tend to be, you know, here, let's develop the mechanics. Okay, now we just build the world, you know? RPGs have to have this constant balancing and, you know, growth systems and stuff that are a lot more complicated. RPGs are expensive to make and don't make a lot of money, usually. Just use RPG Maker. My god, dude. I am so sick of looking at, like, Steam and going, oh, sweet, a new RPG. Oh, it's just RPG Maker. Look, I love RPGs. Don't get me wrong, I love Xenoblade, I love Grandia. A man can't back down at a time like this. Just watch and I'll show you how manly Kanji Tatsumi can be. But, you know, truth is the truth, and there's no sense in trying to deny it, you know? Heck, of all the games to be playing for that comment, it's Persona 4. Persona 4 is all about people coming to terms with who they are and accepting their faults. But yeah, lying to yourself, you know, and lying about a situation just to suit your narrative, it's not gonna help anybody. You know, study why things happen. The best question you can ask yourself and then answer it is why. So why didn't Grandia 2 come out on PS4? Research it, look it up, ask the question to Google. Google might tell you, you know? There's usually a lot more at stake or reasons for it, you know? And if you read something and you don't agree with the reason, ask why, you know? Well, why did this happen? Why did they feel this way? Why did they feel it wasn't worth the risk? Why this, why that, you know? Find out the answer instead of just complaining, you know? Well, let's get the tentacle thing. Oh, what's that? Salamander, let's get that. A Burion. It's like a little salamander cat, it's cute. Level up. Dude, her magic stat is disgusting.
Have I gotten a little stronger?
Wait, invigorate. Hold on. What's invigorate? Because I'm noticing that his SP is still at max. No, okay. Wow, that is very good to have at this level. I should be healing with him. Each turn, yeah, each turn you restore 5 SP. That's so good. Because, like, your basic spell costs 4. God damn it. But why?
I smell 3 enemies. Don't get careless.
Throw down.
3 enemies down.
Good answer. Out of our way.
Yeah, you can download Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii U, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, having played the entire Xenosaga, I have absolutely zero interest in anything regarding Xenosaga for the rest of eternity. If it was burned from our memories and our hearts and our souls forever, and no one ever heard about it for all eternity, I would not shed a single tear, because I personally thought Xenosaga was absolute trash.
Spell 3 enemies.
So
Don't get careless.
I can kind of, what do you call it, relate to you understanding of why people wouldn't care. That's me. I'm that person. I don't care. I'm that person. Am I forsaking Hoppy? Yes. Why have you forsaken me?
3 enemies. Let's get through this.
Oh, of course they attacked the one that didn't guard.
Don't give up, Yosuke. Damn it. Who do they think they are? Count on you.
Let me do this.
Sure.
Here goes. You're wide open.
You knocked it down.
But I mean, I agree with Patches. One was okay. Xenosaga 1 was fine. It was a little awkward in some places, a little unclean, but 2 and 3 are the ones that I really didn't like. But yeah, I mean, I got you, Atako. I got you, man. But that's the thing, like, you understand. You know, you sit there and profess your love of a franchise, but you at least understand why you won't get what you want, and I appreciate that clarity of knowledge, you know. It's just, yeah, the thing about Xenosaga, it was ambitious for someone that lacked the talent to bring it to fruition, in my opinion.
There are 3 enemies. Careful.
Damn, it's not going down.
Woohoo! Chie-chan. That's 1.
Chapu, he looked like you.
Enemy reinforcements. Hurry and beat them.
Persona. 2 left.
Counting on you. Yosuke pounded an enemy.
Amazing, Yosuke-kun.
What's my favorite game ever? Dude, you gotta understand, repeating myself is like what streaming is about. That's like 90% of it is just repeating myself. So don't feel bad about asking a question. If a streamer like answers a question and then like 10 minutes later someone asks the same question and they get upset at you for it because you just walked into the channel, that ain't a good streamer. But my favorite game ever, hard to answer for me because I kind of like a lot of things. I used to answer FF6 because, I mean, I have a lot of history with it. I love the game. It's meaningful to me. But the more I play games, and especially as I stream them, because I've been streaming for almost 5 years now, I just kind of realize that I like a lot of different games for a lot of different reasons. And one favorite doesn't really define my interests. I have a lot of games that I love. But my favorite franchises are Zelda, Metroid, and Final Fantasy. Those are my favorite franchises. I also really like Mega Man and Mega Man X franchises, or at least Mega Man X3 anyway. But yeah, I like a lot of games. You can kind of get an idea of what I really have an interest in. There's a list called the Viewer Choice List. And every Monday and Tuesday, which is tomorrow and the next day, by the way, I play a game voted by viewers.
I couldn't do it.
And those games I will rate fully, completely. So if you go to that link that was just posted in chat and go to the tab on the bottom that says finished with reviews, you can see where I stand on a lot of games that I've played in the past. Not all of my favorite games are on there because the variety night list, the viewer choice list, are typically games that I never got around to playing. So there are a lot of like games that are a little off to the side. Some of them I played before, like FF8 and FF13 are on that list, but I had played them before. And there's a lot of games that I played that were not part of that list that I, you know, may have enjoyed or not enjoyed or whatever. But you can get a pretty good idea of the type of games that I typically buy and enjoy by looking at that list.
Someone finish it off.
Also, keep in mind that before you look at my ratings, realize that I feel the only way to legitimately review a game is by sticking to the principle that 5 is average. 5, not 6, not 7. This isn't IGN. 5. That means if a game is, it's okay. It's okay. That's a 5. You know, and you stick to that. Because if you start apologizing for things and going, oh God, I don't want to make people feel bad or them to feel bad, and give it a 6 or a 7 or an 8, you've lost your integrity to review games, you know? So I stick to that. 5 is average. If it's an average game, like this feels like your standard run-of-the-mill game, it's 5. Blah, 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 blah.
My turn first. There's 3 enemies.
Chop it.
Damn, it's not going down.
Oh no, what's the wrong one?
3
Couldn't quite
enemies.
beat it.
Let's get through this. Yuki-chan beat an enemy. Keep going.
Someone finish it off.
Yeah, there really are too many games to narrow it down to one, right?
Just one enemy.
I also feel that when you give yourself a favorite game, you hold everything in the light of that candle, you know what I mean? Like you compare, you may do it subconsciously, but you kind of compare everything to that game. And I noticed myself doing that actually with FF6. I was like, this game is not FF6. And it's like, of course it's not FF6. It's its own game. I need to compare it to just, you know, what is like objectively good mechanics, how much am I enjoying myself, you know, that kind of stuff, like things that matter. Is this a mechanic that seems like it'd be frustrating to a lot of people? Is it frustrating to me? Is it, you know, designed well? Is it look detailed well, you know? Thought out process, something like that.
Someone else's turn.
Couldn't quite beat it.
One enemy.
There.
Fight.
What's up, Revenues? Hope you had a good sleep, man.
It's tough.
I don't care about that one. A bead. Yakuza, I very much absolutely loved Yakuza 0 and Yakuza Kiwami 1. And I'll be playing Yakuza Kiwami 2 later this year. And also the remasters of 3, 4, and 5 are coming out. I will be giving those attention as well. And Yakuza 7 all will be more than likely streamed on this channel.
Smells 3
Someone else's
enemies.
turn.
Don't get careless. Woohoo! Chie-chan! That's 1.
And Judgment. Yes, and Judgment. I'm not sure where I want to put Judgment. In terms of like when I want to play it, I'll probably just kind of be like, I guess I'm going to play it now or whatever, but yeah. We'll see.
Someone else's
2
turn.
enemies. Charge through them. Woohoo! Chie-chan! That's 1.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to Yakuza, to be honest. Kiryu-chan! The only regret that I have playing a man's got this thing called pride. Ugh, I'll never lose. It's no good. This team's getting worse, and I can't tell where Kanji-kun is at all. Maybe it's really time for me to retire from being a guide. The only thing I regret from my playthrough of Kiwami 1 was not trying to find Majima enough. You know, I was just like, I don't feel like I ignored his presence. I just felt like I didn't look hard enough for him. Ugh. I didn't look hard enough for him. Oh my
This one's
god.
really strong. Chie-chan's in danger.
Are you serious?
Oh, Yuki-chan, that was lovely. Yuki-chan's in danger. Help! Someone!
Not you!
Everyone's health is way too low.
I don't know if I should try to run. I might die. I gotta find a weakness.
This one's tough. Hang in there. Okay, I'll look for an opening for you.
Oh my god, dude.
Hit now!
3 enemies left.
Throw down! Persona! Someone else's turn.
Sensei? Sensei?
What the hell, dude? Dude, that's what I'm talking about with enemies getting the extra turn mechanic. They should not get that bullshit. I just got fucking wiped out without me being able to do anything about it. That is some big old horse shit, man. That's like an hour and a half of crawling through that bullshit fucking dungeon to lose all of my progress. Because there's no intermittent save points. There's complete, oh my god. I was destroying everything in that game until then. Oh, it bothers me so much, man. I hate that kind of shit. I was just about thinking about getting back to saving it too. What a freaking bummer, man. I'm so bummed out by that. Well, the good news is that I don't get back to this until what? Next Friday.